let's crack on with this Soulslike AI thing. Just remember, this is not a tutorial. This is messing around so that we can make a tutorial later with the best setup. So this is what we've currently got. A bad jumping animation. Character, got an AI. Has a moveset, does a jump, can do lots of different attacks. Moves around to us, not very fast. And if we get behind him, he should do a different attack. And then we've got a health system set up that's super basic.
I don't have the mana.
When he gets to phase 2, he does something else. And then he dies. Okay. So there's a couple of bits here that we need to sort out and improve on, so that we can make a decent tutorial / game. And first off, let's even get to the right place. This is the right place. Why are we not doing this gap close attack like we should be? Let's figure out that first, because it should be closing that gap and jumping towards us. Let's check what's going on here. So it should be jumping towards the back and then doing towards us. It didn't do that before. Why it didn't do that? No idea. It seems to be working now, which is good. There's a couple of bits I want to fix. Here, don't want him doing his EQS like to the other side. It should only be to the left or the right. So we need ye old faithful testing pawn here, and I need a player start because that's what is used. Don't break on me now. Don't break on me now, baby. There we go. Silly Unreal with doing silly things. Right, player start. EQS testing pawn. And then where are we? AI stuff. March. Where's the context actor? Context actor. Switch this to be this. And then check that this is the player pawn. So currently this is attack, but this should be strafe. Which is this one. So it's running this EQS strafe. And that's one that we need to look at. So, go to these. Best way of doing this is just to put this down here and put this up here. And then we can adjust these values. So number of points, I change this to 3. it puts it there. It's not really what I want. Circle radius, if I make this 90, closes in a bit too far. So 175. Arc angle at 90. 180. So we get 5 points at an arc angle of 360. So currently it would be going to this first one, and then after that it would go to this one or this one, because those have the highest score. What if I change? If this is linear, it goes all the way across, which is not what I want. So we want to inverse the linear so that it goes to this one or this one. It's still quite a far distance. So if we change the number of points to 10, what happens if I drop this down to 5? Then it chooses that one. Okay. That would only move to the side here. The last time I changed this round, it messed up the behavior tree here. So it messed up this range check. She's checking distance to target. Why is it checking distance to target and then it's more or less than? Distance to target is being set in this service up here. But that's using a different key, because we've split distance to target and move location, which is what we want. Okay, let's give that a go. And hopefully it will just move to like a closer one here. And when it gets to here, so when it like moves to this one, then it'll just come back here. See, this is the difficulty about which one it chooses to come back to. What does this extent do? Like absolutely nothing. The arc angle sets strafe around the context target. Oh, this needs to be 360. See, like that's where it's really difficult, is you don't want him to like go to the other side, you just want him to move to the left or the right to reposition himself. So I think that is the right call. Let's give that a test, see what happens. We've got the debug going on for where he's moving to. Which seems to have stopped the issue we were having last time of just standing in front of us, which is good. Like we like. Sweet. Okay. That is good. It's not freaking out and going all over the face, which is what we want. Right, so this is our dead tree. This is when player is healing. This is our if behind tree. And this is our range.
Did you deflate it?
So when this guy jumps back here, he should, there we go, jump towards us. And do that, which is good. Let's just check this attack walk.
Pretty sure that's everything.
That gets the attack walk target, number of points. Circle radius is fine. Let's check that actually. Put this back on our test spawn. Check the attack warp target because we might actually use this for a lot of things. Update this, save this. There we go. So if we're over here, the closest one that we've got is this one value, so it'll zip to here. Is there a range that this doesn't work? No, this should be working the entire time. So if it's over here, it does this. It zips to this one. So that is what we want. But if we're too close, no, it should zip back. Okay, that's good. Because this sets our like distance so that we're not moving through our targets when we're attacking. So if we look here, like we can get more points. I know 20 is the max. We'll not do 50. Yeah, we can, but silly. We could reduce it down to 10, but I think 20 is fine. I guess it's a bit more of an accurate read. And the radius is there. So 225 is our radius. We can do a query parameter on the binding. And then for each of these attacks, they can have a different setup that we can then set here. So if I copy this, query config or members. But then this is none. So let me just put in a here so I know what's going on. I can't then set that here. Why? So circle radius is query param A. Right, that's fine, that makes sense. But I can't set that here. Just doesn't give me an option. So how do I tell this one that this one's A and this one's B. That doesn't make any logical sense in my eyes. You are. Let me check one that I did earlier. That's in a whole different project. I can't be bothered to load up. That's so weird, man. Why can't we set the param name here? Okay. Setting parameter names in EQS. Okay, so in this article, it says that we can do that, and they're able to name them attack distance, but I can't name. Okay. Let's have a look at what this one says. Well, it doesn't go anywhere, so that's useful. Test. No. User dot. I love it when things work. It should just allow you to do the query parameter. Min attack distance, query params. Yeah, query params. Let's do min attack distance, because it's kind of the same, but we're trying to get there. But this. Oh. What the Jeff? That's super annoying that you'd have to untick this and then tick it again to get it to appear. That's very frustrating. Could I set this to be a Blackboard key value? And every time we find a different one, then we can set up the attacks to like go over to that distance. I feel like that could be a thing, right? Is this the Blackboard key that it reads, or is this the Blackboard key that it sets? There's a question. But I mean, we managed to get one answer for the query parameters, which is turning it on and off again. So that's cool. Because now what we can do is inside our data table, where we're doing all these setups, we can say what the minimum distance is. So like, rather than having them, let me see if I can show. Let's go like from here. So now what I'll do is jump back, but he'll just like launch himself nowhere. But yeah, basically, like if you don't have this, then they can just like run through you and move through you. Whereas here they are moving to a point where we know that it looks like their hammer is going to hit. That'll be why. So that our hammer's going to hit and we're not moving through. Why are we not going to our attack? Go to this, don't need this anymore. So being. So it's like rotating the correct way around, which is what we want. But it's not going into our attack phase. Okay, which means that our strafe is doing a weird thing. If I change this to 201, it'll work. Or at least it should work. You ever have one of those days where you load up a project and nothing goes as expected? Like, we had this fixed, and now it's not fixed. It's back to I. What a frustrating day. Is this failing, or is it just not reaching this point? Wait a sec. Wait a sec. No, that should be fine. EQS that placement, EQS this. Okay. Is this because we don't have... Okay, so now we know how to fix this silly bug here. Is this because this isn't active here? That might be the reasoning why it's not doing our attacks. It's our big heavy attack. There we go. Oh my gosh, you change one thing and just everything else breaks. Sup, mate? You're right. What a silly error and bug that is. Right, so now we have that running as expected. But some of these attacks, like some of them could be a little bit closer, so that one's fine. We're not bothered about that one. That one is alright too. Like they're lined up quite perfectly with the head. But there's a couple of bits that we don't like here. I don't like how he's trying to cross me here to get to me. That's not what I want. And that attack there isn't quite lined up properly. Other than that, it looks quite good. What an absolute frustration that was. Heavy attack does this. So I could do, in this leap back calculation, right now it leaps backwards to all the way back in the world. But what we might want to do is have it go left or right. For like 10 meters. Or could we just use an EQS query to make sure that that's going a good distance? So if we our EQS testing one, and then we put in a query. Just make a new one off this attack warp. So this would be EQS safe dodge back position. And we're going to generate a circle 225 points around the context querier. So then we set the points back here. And then we can start messing with this. So distance to don't need the distance to the query. Do need to add in a pathfinding trace here so that we can get to it. Radius would be like 500, and then circle is 90, but it's not. $180. So it's that. But it needs to be behind us. Which is where it falls down. No. So I could dodge forward and to the right or forward and to the left. But because it needs to be behind us, in theory, you can set this to like -90. Or 0, as the case may be. So if I put the number of points at 3, what if we change this then from a circle to grid? Let's get rid of this for a sec. So this is a grid. Grid heart size is 500, and the points between, whoops, would also be 500. Then we want so that's fine, and that's fine. So then we can add a test, and it's pathfinding. Except this pathfinding will be path exists. So that's the from the querier. And add another from here. And if we add another one for the distance, the distance to 0 to like 5,000, and that makes these two corners more weighted to go to one of them, and it also makes this corner and this corner. But if we change the distance to query to distance to context attack target, and then change our context back to this for a sec. Then add back in a player start, which is what we are checking as our testing. Then that only makes these back to the higher value. So we can leap back to those. So if we are in the face of our target here, then the furthest point back is this back left one. and the second furthest point back is back right one. Let's see. These are max scores, 89. Because we're always orientating round, then we should go back in a good position and good way. But we need a way. So this will always randomize between these two, which is what we want. And it will never go backwards because that's the closest. So now if I do a so I need a random number generator, and it needs to be deciding between 0 and 1 what percentage it's going to be based on that. So like I can have 1 at 70% likelihood to run and 1 at 30% likelihood to run. But we need a way of doing that. So let's get a new decorator. BTT random chance. And we'll get receive condition check AI. And we'll get a random floating range 0 and 1. Then we'll check, is it less than or equal to 0.7? That's a 70% chance. But we can make this a variable. Chance to check against. And then I can return that just here. So now the first attack that it does is this one, where it calculates the leap back. Okay, so let's do a selector here. Add that new decorator. Let's make random chance instance ends when it's supposed to spawn. Chance check against 0.7. So it only enters this if it does that. Okay, so now we could do a selector to this, add a decorator here, and this is the random chance. Why does it keep doing the property details that I don't need? So if it's true, it does this one. And so then we need a sequence here because it's going to run. If it's false, then we do the EQS. Run EQS query. This will be our safe dodgeback position. And the blackboard key that we want to do would be the move location. That's what we're going to update. What else runs this? Let's just do a debug sphere so that we know that that's actually working. Single best item sequence selector. We don't need that selector. That needs to be here. So if this random chance is more than 70, it goes here. If not, it goes here. If it is here, then it succeeds and comes back up here and just continues to run. So what should happen is that it'll place a debug sphere in one of the corners. To change this back here, compile and save, do this. But instead, it was successful in its print, which is annoying. So we can do this print here and say fast. What's it say? Result over 70. But let's also go into our task decorator here and we can print this result as well. So we'll do a print string here to make sure that what we're getting out is what we're putting in. Let's see. Does this, it sees as result is over 70. Then I know it goes back here because it moves back here. Nope. This target, this EQS target is actually targetable, which is beyond frustrating. How to create a load area, or what do you mean by how create load area? Or what's a load area? Like a tutorial area, or it's the output log? How interesting that this isn't actually running as expected. Rate this for a sec. make sure that the calculation is running. It is, which is what we want. That's world partition and level streaming. So the map's so big, when you move each area, load mesh and other things in one area, not the other. So yeah, you want to be looking at data layers, world partitions, level streaming. Need this attack to come off cooldown.
Give me a shower.
$50. That's so long for testing. Yeah. That's because this doesn't abort anything. Neither does this one. So none of these are aborting anything, and they need to abort the lower priority stuff. This one needs to abort lower priority in both, so that if we move out of this range, it'll say, no, we need to get out of this. This one doesn't have anything lower priority, so that's all fine. And this one just needs to abort itself if it moves further out. So it's quite complex in terms of what it's doing. So there's back left. This is all that moving stuff. And now in 50 seconds, we should see another back left or back right. That was the problem I had earlier, where it was just like stood next to him, hugging him, which is a bit frustrating because that means the AI is bugged. That's his back right. Sweet. Okay, that's good. So we know that the EQS works, but the picking ability from the random number generator doesn't work. Because this doesn't seem to want to run. Let's add this decorator, but as a inverse. just like this. It's like it never checks this. This print string doesn't trigger, so it never even enters this to check it. Do a branch here instead. Do a true false thing. It's basically the same, but for whatever reason, that's what I've done on all the others. Oh no, it's not. Okay. But these are just getting existing values and checking less. So maybe it's the fact that it's trying to do a thing, but I can't see it. Sequence keeps executing this. Selector bases off a condition that's in here. Still just not printing the random number that we have generated. Sometimes I have a habit of plugging this into the wrong thing. No, that is definitely an in string. Prints a screen printer, log duration 2 seconds. Yeah, what? The selector should evaluate this, fail, and then evaluate this one and succeed or fail. But it's not. So under 70? It's definitely entering that one first. Move this over here a sec. Because Margaret doesn't always jump straight back. He jumps left or right at times. Okay, so what we can do is just grab this second and then new task. DT random percentage generator. See execute AI. Put this in here. Then finish. Execute. And then we've got a random percentage generator. That should now just print off percentage when that behavior tree starts. / when the enemy sees us. There we go, that's 0.2. So that means we need a new blackboard key. A float. Random percentage. We need to open its random percentage generator. And then we're gonna set blackboard key, value as float. This one. Write this to a variable. Random percentage key. File that, but make it instance edits when exposed on spawn. And then the random percentage key is going to be this random percentage that we set here, which means that this will now just, this BTT, which shouldn't be called BTT, it should be named properly as deck random chance. This now should get blackboard value as float. Write this to a variable. Instance edits will expose on spawn so that we can say it's the random chance one. And then compare that to the chance just here. And that should work. But that is frustrating as all hell. So we're looking for Super. How are you, man? Are you well? So we're looking for a random percentage of less than 0.7. So if this one is less than 0.7, then it'll do the business. If this one is more than 0.7, it should do this one. You know what? I should just make it 0.5. And take off the inverse. Deck random chance. Chance 0.5. This one does need to be inversed. So now we should get result under 70. Change that to 50. And result over 50. Hopefully. And if it is, so if it's over 50, it's going to put a spear on the left or the right. And if it's under 50, it's just going to do a line trace. So under 50, yes. I am going to need, let's promote this to a variable. And then we need to do a print string here. So I need to know what it is. I can't test something that I've got no idea what it does. 0.32. Nice. And that went to the left. 0.66. That was result over 50. Just check that. Just need, I don't need the warnings or the errors. Filters. Where is, I have to change the color of these on. In string, text color, red. We have 10 seconds. MK Games, how are you today? Well, let's go. Result under 50, 0.27. Back to the left. Sweet. Result under 50, back to the left. Beautiful. No, that should be result over 50, which is not good. So this will form part of like our random checks on which attacks that we're going to do, but also is forming part of our random checks on where we're dodging as well, whether we're dodging back to the left or back to the right, or whether we're dodging straight backwards. God, this thing is full of junk. Once I figure out which log it is, I'm going to turn the rest of it off. I'll just control F. No. Oh wait, I can't. 50. But now I get all log blueprint user messages. That is the only one that I want. So filters. Oh wait, show all. No. Log blueprint. Look at that. There we go. So that's correct. That's incorrect. We're setting the random percentage just here. And then we are checking it. Is this? Let's do more than or equal to this instead. So if it's more than or equal to 50%, then it runs. this result under 50. And if that's not true, then it should run this result over 50. God, this is an annoying setup. And all this, so we can just dodge back left or back right. Result under 50, perfect. Running the correct code. Still wants to run the result over 50 though. Why isn't this selector doing what I need it to do? Key random percentage, key random percentage. Just defaults to this one. Just get rid of that for a sec. Result under 50, beautiful. Result under 50, not beautiful. This is very annoying and very confusing. Why won't you go down the right branch? The select is on the right thing. Just force it to do something here for a sec. But I can already see that it's going straight into this node. Didn't even get a random number generator there. What? 31, 30. No, that definitely should have run. Behavior trees are wild, man. It's even deciding that it wants to skip this wait. If what if these also need to, no, this shouldn't need to be a selector. This should just work. Yeah. No. I'm ripping my hair out on this one, boys. Do you not understand why this decorator doesn't? No. Right. Have I been trying to use a decorator when I could have just used this blackboard condition? Is less than 0.5. And what's the thing? Random percentage is greater than or equal to 0.5. Right, if that is the case, you mother. Actual joke of a human. What? What the hell? That makes like no sense. A blackboard based condition is a decorator, and we made our own decorator to be like exactly the same as the one that is based here. That's so frustrating. What an actual waste of time that I've just done. Right. Okay, but at least now we know. At least when the tutorial is, then like it will be a thing, right? Everyone will know how to do this thing and won't see the hours wasted of me trying to go, what the hell? So now, final result. This guy should result over 50. That spear over there is where he will jump to in 10 seconds. Once I've coded it properly. And if it's result under 50, we should see a line trace pop out. Of course, I'm not going to get one because 50%ish, right? Result under 50. There's my line trace. I'm a happy boy. Sweet. Okay. Physics constraints. Who knew opening a door just somewhere would be difficult? Yeah. That's the angle, though. You have to set the angular constraints on the physics door. I think I've done that, man. There's a doors project on Fab. My doors project on Fab that has physics doors. So, I mean, you might want to have a look at that. It's free, so take a look at it, super. You know, I have to do this for yokai for my college exit exam project. I'm making a game based off an abandoned shrine, and you have to defend from evil yokai. Using behavior trees, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think for like mob based enemies, it's fine. Pun intended, but also not. It potentially does. I didn't know how far you'd gotten, super, but yeah, you can check the angular constraints, and it should fix. Like you can limit the constraints on the physics. 100% sure. I might have to do a one-way door, like physics swinging door, just for that pack. How far have you gotten with your college exit exam project? You know? Have you gotten quite far with it? I still have to write 13,000 words on my uni dissertation thing that I've just been avoiding. Right, what does the gap creator, what does that do? This uses the motion warping that says long range. And before, how do we call the long range one? We calculate the leap back and that calls the long range. Dodge backwards to safety calculation. But actually, I can just nab this, move this over here. And then do a custom event. Dodge to EQS location. Then we can just do a, get this calculated back, duplicate it, BTT, dodge to EQS location. Don't need that anymore. What we do want is get blackboard value as vector. Convert this to a variable. This will be our movement location. Dodge to EQS location. Don't forget to make this instance editable and expose on small. Move location. Animations sell stuff like no end. Score-based system, health, mob spawn and damage. That's a good one. Yeah, animations sell stuff no end. But then you have to make them, buy them, or like adapt them. Right, so now when this guy dodges left or right, of course his first dodge is backwards because luck is not on my side. His second dodge is backwards. But you know what I can do? 0.1. There we go, dodge to the left. That's what we want. Oh man. That took the absolute mick, honestly. Like we fixed a couple of issues on the way round, but that was so weirdly frustrating. Okay, let's go. What's this one do? Oh yeah, this is the loser. This is the spinning type. This one's really hard because it will. We set the focus, and then it just follows the player. So getting behind them is actually quite difficult. Pretty sure even when they're attacking, they're rotating towards us. Yeah, they are. Doesn't really seem fair, does it? So let's do unset focus. So that when they are attacking us with their basic attack, there we go. Then we do our spin attack. Like before each attack, we need to be setting the focus just so that we catch it. Target actor. This here is our dodge, sideways, or backwards. And this one is heavy attack. That was setting the focus. Interesting. And we can do a selector here. So this one is whoops, where did that go? This is our heavy attack with dodge back afterwards. Because now we have this random number generator, then I can do the random number, check if it's a random number, and we'll see if we actually do this. So it'll do it like 50% of the time. So we're moving from having a really telegraphed fight to having a more randomized based fight that isn't going to be the same for every person. Which is what we want, really. I would like to know why this is saying that we're not within a certain distance. Let's say less than 100. So I'd like to move to an attack rather than just move constantly. Strafe is still peeing me off. What? Oh wait, no. Less than 500, more than 0. So that should mean that it attacks more often as soon as it's gotten to its finishing point. Yeah, there we go. So now the question is like, do the Dark Souls bosses move between attacks regularly? Like, do they try and strafe around you to get a better position? Or do they just like, if you are stood in the spot that you are in, do they just continue to attack you from the same spot? Because right now we've got this guy, he strafes around and doesn't attack. But maybe we want to just keep constantly attacking from the same spot. If we are within the distance. Oh, don't tell me both, man. Like, programming both would be a pain. But we'll do it. Sequence, it checks this, then goes to this way, so. Where's the force success? Finish result. So Anime Finder, I appreciate the nice comment, mate. Thank you very much. Both. I think so. You're saying both that they keep attacking, but they also move if you don't move. Okay. This should keep him rooted in place if we're under 500 distance, and if we aren't, then it'll move over here. MK Games, why don't I use gas what for this? Or for, like, in general? Because in general, I do use Gasp, but this is a personal project. And the second reason is it's in 5.4, and 5.4 Gasp is awful. There's his jump back. There's his thing. Goes to attack. So I think I've set it to loop 3 times. Yeah, place 3 random attacks. So select will do this, and it aborts itself if we are not. Okay, we need to abort both. No, I mean, that's what makes it. That's every boss fight differently. Sadly, that's what makes it hard, which is like, it's fair. I don't think you could use the same nodes for a lot of these boss fights, like, for sure, but you would still have to change and come up with different attacks. Is that the 4th attack, 5th attack, 6th attack? Now we're in strafe. Now we have the problem of this is too big. So 300 is probably a good value. Jumps back, long range attack. He's close, so he does these attacks. He should do like 4 of them. Or no, he will just keep going with his basic attacks. Then he'll strafe towards us. And that's his heavy attack. Is that his heavy attack? And then this should be Spin attack. There we go. But because we have unset the focus here. Okay, so unset the focus, but then reset it after we finish doing the attack. Set focus. Gotta test everything, man. There's a whole phase 2, there's a whole like death loop and stuff, but right now we're just tuning everything. I haven't even added the visual effects on it yet. So let's see what that looks like. Spin attack. The weird rotation I'm not overly concerned about because we'll rotate towards the target during the attack montage. There'll be like a window because there's a window inside Margaret's fight. Margaret, where when they're attacking they rotate and then at a certain point they stop when they're committed to the attack and then they drop the hammer. It's just the after focus that I need sorting, which is what this does, and this as well. So this seems to work. So this is checking the sequence, running a selector to select this, and then if this fails, then it forces this selector to succeed, because this sequence fails if any of the children fail. So we can't have this selector failing, or else none of this code on the right would run. So once this selector, once this decorator is true, the distance to target is less than 300 and more than 0, then we can run this. And the first thing we do is unset the focus. And the second thing we do is select whether we're in phase 2 or not and run different attack patterns. And then it loops through this code 3 times, which is just 3 basic combos and attacks, and resets the focus. Now what we can do now, because we've done all the hard work earlier, and this is where like you've got to know what your boss story is. Like what's the dance that you're doing with your boss. So now we've done this, I can do this, where it goes random number. It's the random number. Random percentage generator. Set the random percentage. Do a select. And this needs to be Blackboard key. Random number is greater than, let's say, 50%. And then I can do this code here. Where we dodge to a location, and attack. So we just copy this, then we get rid of this. So actually, it's this, and then for success, finish with result. Okay, so now on every basic attack, there's a 50% chance that it breaks out of the loop and does the dodge. He says confidently, and then doesn't. Ah! Moved into me. Sequence. This here, selector. Phase 2. Observe robot's self. This is phase 2, so this isn't a big issue. EQS query for the attack warp. Do this combo. Picks randomly from this combo. Sets the focus, does this. Runs this selector. But we don't want this to fail, so that's why we've got this finish with result. This is a one-to-one boss fight. Boss gave 0 downtime to the player. If you're not blocking or dodging, you would die. Yeah, I mean, there's no dodge setup or blocking currently. And then currently, I mean, this boss isn't giving much downtime. If you mean downtime by distance, like it wouldn't separate from you. Move location, do this, block this condition. Oh, that's why key value, it shouldn't be, should be 0.5. There we go. So now, one attack, dodge back, and then it decides how. So that dodge back doesn't trigger our gap closer attack, which has a distance of 1,000. So this dodge backwards the radius, if we make it 1,000, then we need to check that that is going to work. So let's grab one of these EQS pawns. And let's make this 1,000 as well. There we go. That's created what we want. So yeah, now we should get 50% chance to do a dodge back. Then it's walking to me. Not really what I want. That dodge is a bit far, which is why we need parameters to be able to configure the dodge. There we go. This is working as we want it. We have no block or dodge yet. We do have, there is a mechanic where you are healing and the enemy knows that you're healing. I'll show you that. Give me a sec. This is a 50% chance of dodge after attack. This is not a 50% dodge of attack because this is a percentage of something. So when player is healing, we focus the player and we can make a choice of 2 attacks. And we can trigger that with our healing by using this pawn make noise. So when this pawn makes noise, then the AI should hear a noise and sets that the player is healing. And it should interrupt absolutely everything. So here we are with a dodge, and then throwing an attack and stopping it. So I'll press 2. That's his like throwing attack of trying to focus that EQS pawn. Or it's not. Oh, that's why. See, this is the thing. Like, you make one change, you've got to check where that change is across everything. So we're setting the focus. We need to check the attack warp and the attack placement because we're doing a gap closer potentially. So this should work better now. That's our gap closer. Now if I press 2, he's like interrupting my heal, trying to. So that is good, but we are not stopping that. Let's just check what is going on. It seems to be constantly running the healing interrupt. Yeah. So that's constantly running the healing interrupt, which is what it shouldn't be. It should be running something else. So this AI sense thing isn't actually working. Unless AI perception, hearing range, max age for hearing. Let's set this to 1 second. But there's no max age. By the sense becomes forgotten. On target perception, forgotten. Let's just do a print string here. Hearing, forgotten. Because on the perception updated, you can get the sense, but on this one, you can't. So I press 2, he starts doing his attack. 1 second later, it should be forgotten, but it's not printing. Like currently, this is still set to be healing. Okay, there we go. But that's not what we want. Yeah. Stimulus, break it. Let's do and Boolean. Successfully sensed this. Then let's get this print string. I don't think this will work, but I want to avoid using a delay. I could just use a timer. Says okay, sweet. There we go. So now if I press 2, you will do the hearing, and then he'll forget about me on the next tick. Maybe a timer is better, because then we can keep going for a little while. But like, if I've been attacked and I'm trying to heal, then he'll try and stop that. Now the better question is, why is that long range attack not overriding everything? Where's the cooldown? Because we don't want attacks on cooldown, we want situations on cooldown. If I start putting like the special attack on cooldown, then it becomes predictable. So we want situations on cooldown. rather than attacks. So now the situation of me being like super far away is on cooldown, but I could just take that off. I think I will, because I don't want to be able to create that distance between us and the player. So whenever you are a distance away, then he would do his big attack. So here I'm running away and he's like, no, I'll come back. No, I'll come back. So I think that works better apart from this attack placement is this. I kind of want this to be closer. So for this particular one, it will be 100. Because you're still running normally. Like we could probably do some sort of prediction. Oh man, I appreciate the support, mate. Like, go grab some shot. I'm not going to be much longer for this world, like, in terms of sleep. So, but appreciate you sticking around. I hope it's been informative. Just like showing you what is put into a like the tutorial stuff, all this practicing and like making sure, and then you get a polished product at the end of it that is less time, and I'm able to explain properly because I've made all the mistakes making it for myself. So between 0 and 100, we do this attack loop. Between 0 and 300, we do this. So these are all like special attacks. We do this if we're too close. And this is our dodge back and then launch ourselves at the character. It's that gap closer. Then we've got phase 2 that is different as well. Okay. Like this was complicated as hell, but it doesn't feel like it because like I've made it. Just trying to think what we need to add to this before we go and refine it a bit more. Let's go and have a look at this combo. So we could add in the play particle effects. What have I got? The bone that this guy's got. And oh, just save that. Close it down and reopen it. Doesn't really feel like trails, does it? See what fabs are. We got some visual effects. We want some weapon trails. VFX. Stylized sword weapon trails. Yes, please. It's kind of what we want. Have I got anything else? I have got too many things. It says, and then just add in some more. And to add that to my library, add that to my project. Sword trails, man. They're just like there's like one free pack. Does this mix VFS come with 5 sashes combined? Yeah, that'll do. Without those two. I think that's all we're gonna need for the time being. Yeah. Let's go back to this. I need to check out the bones. Oh, what's this weapon bone? and the handgun that he doesn't have. Joint for the weapon. But then where's the weapon go? Joint for the jaw. Oh, we can make him speak. All these joints, so the textiles coming off the pelvis. But this weapon is non-existent. Did I give him a weapon? Pretty sure it's part of his skeleton. I'm so confused. Right, let's check if we actually gave this guy a weapon. No, he just comes with a big massive hammer. Called a Hummer. It's not a hammer. And that has its own skeleton. How interesting. That's why I like code, man. Code is so much easier to work out than weird skeletons and riggings and all sorts. So this is like 3 pieces in one? Let's open up the skeletal mesh for the hammer. Wait, it just doesn't have one. Just has this joint for the weapon. Okay. Oh, that's what we're working with, so that's what we'll deal with. So I'll do a notify state Niagara effect. Oh, Niagara effect. Put it on the joint with the weapon and do lightning slash. That give me anything? Lightning slash here, lightning only slash. No, because I've got this weird bug with the. There we go. like it like slows down. Destroy immediately. Let's see what other slashes are around. What was the other one that I had? There's the mixed VFX ones, which have the lightning slash only. Okay. What was it one I done? Sword Trail VFX. These are badly named and I dislike it. Yeah, mate, yeah, this is me messing to try and figure out the stuff that will go into a tutorial. Like for the most part, it's there. Now it's just applying the finishing touches. But yeah, there will be a full like AI boss fight tutorial. I don't want to do like because I've seen that there's loads of AI tutorials, but mainly for mob enemies, so like patrolling and following and then attacking, and that's super boring. So I wanted to do something a bit more. Oh, there is a slash just here. Something a bit more fun. That's a cool effect. Kind of like that. That's cool too. What does that extend to? Oh, that's looking. That's pretty nice. What feeling on that? What are our thoughts? We can start it earlier as well. We start it later actually. Yeah, that was good. What's number 5? Even what's not justice. 5 doesn't look as good. 6 looks pretty solid. Seven is alright. 8's pretty nice. So this pack's actually pretty decent. 10 is a nice little like darkness effect. It's like cool little particles knocking around it as well. Like that. Let's stick with 10. And let's go into all our basic attacks. And we can add tend to that. I don't think I want it there though. I think it's here. Yeah, that's good. Last one. This attack's too fast. 0.5. Motion warp up to there. And then add in our VFX. Right here. Cool. Right, let's see how that looks. Get some sound effects on that. That's gonna look pretty solid, right? Because right now, obviously, there's no sounds. Because then what we can do is when we move to phase 2, like we can do some cool effects on his head and all that sort of cool stuff. But I want to go get some food because I'm starving. I've been doing this for like 2 hours. So appreciate all you for joining us. I've got no time scale on when this tutorial will be ready. I just want it to be like as nice looking and as polished as possible. It's going to be a long one, just because of the amount of stuff that's in here and what we're trying to do, and then we'll revamp it and put it into state trees as well. That's the plan. We'll just see how long it takes, but no time scale. I don't want to pressure myself into putting a time scale on it, because then I just won't do a good job. And right now, I think this is going pretty well. Like, next time we'll put some phase 2 stuff on there. We'll have a transition into phase 2. And yeah, but for the most part, this is doing all right. So thanks for joining us, and I'll catch you in the next one.